Hello there, Star Wars fans. The internet and HoloNets are ablaze as the news many of us have been waiting for might actually be happening.
Well, we're waiting.
And the big potential news is that Kathleen Kennedy will be officially leaving Lucasfilm at the end of this year.
Yes! Yeah!
This is huge for Star Wars and the fan base. I am beyond excited if this is true. If you've been watching the channel, even for the brief time I've been posting here on YouTube, it's no secret that I am not a fan of Kathleen Kennedy. I think she has soiled the brand of Star Wars, caused more division than unity, and should have been fired ages ago. Many fans alike have the same feelings as me, and I wouldn't be surprised if you found this video because you have the same feelings as well. And based on my last video, I was very surprised to see this recent news, but I am very happy if it's true. But before I continue, please help the channel by giving this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button below, so you never miss what comes next in your favorite galaxy far, far away. Now, let's dive in.
This is where the fun begins.
On Monday night, February 24th, Matthew Filoni of Puck News dropped an exclusive bombshell. Kathleen Kennedy, the current president of Lucasfilm, is set to step down from her role by the end of this year. While rumors of her departure have been circulating for years, this announcement has garnered unprecedented attention because of the credibility of the sources involved. Now, like many of you, my first thought was, I'll believe it when I see it. For those who have been following this saga closely, this might sound like just another rumor in a long line of similar speculations. After all, this is far from the first time we've heard about her potential exit. But what makes this different is the growing number of Hollywood trades discussing it, including The Hollywood Reporter and Variety, both of which rarely report on such rumors unless there's significant truth behind them. Filoni's article states that 3 sources close to the situation have confirmed her decision to exit. Kathleen Kennedy herself has now publicly commented, and I'll discuss that in a future video, but the signs are becoming hard to ignore. Filoni mentions Kennedy's recent personnel moves, selling her Los Angeles properties and collecting career honors, which are often indicators that someone is preparing to leave a long-term position. Furthermore, reputable Hollywood outlets are now backing up this story, signaling that it's more than just idle chatter. This marks a notable shift. In the past, where similar rumors emerged, the major Hollywood trades generally stayed quiet.
Someone comes along, you must zip it. Zip it good.
Now, however, they're speaking out, confirming the news and fueling further speculation about what's coming next for the iconic film studio and its most famous franchise, Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy's departure raises significant questions about the future of Star Wars, a franchise that has struggled with consistency under her leadership. While it's important to remember that Kennedy's tenure has not been devoid of successes, such as the massive success of The Force Awakens. Yes, we have to admit it was a box office success. The subsequent Star Wars films and television shows have been met with mixed responses from both critics and audiences. In my opinion, they've been pretty bad overall. Besides Rogue One, Mando Seasons 1 and 2, Tales of the Jedi, Clone Wars Season 7, Andor, and Skeleton Crew. The rest have been pretty bad to me. The post-Disney acquisition era of Star Wars under Kennedy has seen a number of highs and lows. The sequel trilogy, while financially successful at first, began to show cracks almost immediately after The Force Awakens, when its 2 sequels, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, struggled to satisfy fans. Episode 9 made half as much as Episode 7 at the end of the day. Moreover, standalone films like Solo bombed at the box office, and recent Disney Plus series such as The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew have failed to capture the audience's attention in the way that earlier Star Wars projects did. The franchise, once a cultural touchstone, has seen a significant decline and relevance in recent years, leading many fans to feel that Star Wars is no longer the powerhouse it once was. Let's be honest, Star Wars and other Lucasfilm properties are at an all-time low. Their viewership, sales, pop culture relevance, even conversational zeitgeist is just embarrassing at this point. It's unclear if Kathleen Kennedy's departure will be the decisive change the franchise needs, or if her exit will merely usher in another corporate leader who will continue down the same path. There is a sense of caution surrounding her exit, as many feel that the broader issues affecting Star Wars go beyond Kennedy herself, namely the overarching influence of Disney, which may continue to prioritize profitability over creative integrity. However, one potential upside is that whoever steps in next will likely have an opportunity to reshape Star Wars in a way that appeals more strongly to fans, while also restoring the franchise's former cultural relevance. This brings us to the larger question. Does Kathleen Kennedy's exit really matter? After all, some fans have grown so disillusioned with the direction of Star Wars under her leadership that they've all but written off the franchise. In a world where superhero movies dominate the box office and the very essence of Star Wars seems diluted, it's easy to wonder if any leadership change will make a significant impact. And that's the thing. How is Star Wars going to persevere and get back to the quality we as fans deserve? And how is the IP going to be treated with the respect it deserves by those in charge? Some would argue that Star Wars has already been irrevocably damaged. While the Disney era has certainly been marked by controversy and inconsistency, Star Wars still holds a special place in the hearts of millions. So it's possible that, under the right leadership, the franchise could regain its former glory. But regardless, that'll take years. But others are skeptical. The pessimistic view is that, regardless of who takes over for Kennedy, Star Wars is bound to remain a corporate product under the House of Mouse, with little room for artistic risk-taking or creative rejuvenation. Star Wars is at a crossroads, and whoever steps into the presidency at Lucasfilm will face an uphill battle. Whoever takes over will have to address the lingering discontent among fans and rebuild trust in the franchise. But again, this will take time, likely years to achieve. And with some of the recent decisions made by Lucasfilm, it's fair to ask, is it too late for any leadership change to make a meaningful difference? It's important to note, however, that Kathleen Kennedy's departure is not the result of a firing or a mass reassessment by Disney. Rather, it seems to be a natural transition for Kennedy, after years of steering Lucasfilm, feels that it's time to move on. Simply, she's getting old. This is a personal decision on her part, not one forced by external pressure from Disney executives like Bob Iger, at least not publicly. It's clear that Kennedy still retains influence over the future of Star Wars, and her departure could leave the franchise in limbo for some time as the studio figures out its next move. A lot of what's coming next is going to be tied to the Kathy era. According to Jeff Snyder, Kathleen is retiring as president, but might not be absent from Lucasfilm's future productions entirely. Since the Rey New Jedi Order film was announced at Star Wars Celebration 2 years ago, it has been in production hell. And behind the scenes, it's been noted that this really was Kathy's big last move, her attempt at a big win for her legacy and stamp on Star Wars. And as I reported in my last video about the updates on that film, or films I should say, she's tied to being a producer on the new trilogy with Simon Kinberg, the Rey Solo movie, and potentially other films. So, while I was right to discuss her future involvement in some Star Wars films, it seems it'll actually not be as president. Very similar to Amy Pascal with Sony and the Spider-Man films. She left as president and still plays a major role in producing the most recent Spidey films. And to be transparent, I want to have hope for the franchise. This franchise is built on hope. Since 1977, this was one of the main lessons that is still the foundation of Star Wars. Just like the reign of the Empire, it'll come to an end. I want us to be rid of the Kathleen Kennedy influence, and I know it goes deeper than just her. There are many at Lucasfilm that need to go, and who knows for sure what's going to happen with the president position. But regardless, the next pick is very crucial for the life of the franchise. So, the question on everyone's mind is, who will take over for Kathleen Kennedy? Naturally, there's been a great deal of speculation about who could assume leadership at Lucasfilm. The trades and scoopers alike are hinting at familiar names that always come up in this conversation, and each type of outlet is saying the same names but also who they think is the new successor or successors, and why some other candidates will not be taking the role. So, let's take a look at what Andrew Salazar, the co-owner and manager of Discussing Film, has said on this topic. I've been glued to my laptop for the past hour, so I was a bit late posting this, but yeah, some of us had heard whispers of this since last year. Her replacements are exactly who you think they're going to be, by the way. Many names have emerged, but the two most prominent candidates, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, are at the top of the list. They're always brought up in the conversation to some extent. However, the common agreement on this is that neither are technically qualified. Two creatives who don't seem to want to or care for the business side of the role. But if we look at the trades and some other scoopers, Dave and Jon come up again per many sources, but especially Dave in many different forms. According to industry insiders, like Jeff Snyder, Jon Favreau is content with his current role and enjoys a lucrative salary as a creative force behind Star Wars, rather than a corporate figurehead. He has also reportedly clashed with Kathleen Kennedy, making him a less likely candidate to take over. That leaves Dave Filoni as a more likely option. But there's some hesitation about his potential leadership. While Filoni is revered for his work in Star Wars: The Clone Wars and his more recent live-action contributions, some fans have grown disillusioned with his recent projects. Shows like Ahsoka and the Book of Boba Fett have left some fans wondering if Filoni is the right person to carry Star Wars into its next phase. Still, insiders say he may be the one to take over, possibly in a co-president arrangement with Carrie Beck, Lucasfilm's EVP of live-action production. Personally, I think if Carrie Beck is involved, that's a big L. That would prove those right who think another corporate stooge will be put in the role and nothing will change. Now this reminds me of the Peter Safran, James Gunn situation at DC Studios. One to be the business side, and the other to usher the creative side. Another name that continues to pop up is Kevin Feige, the mastermind behind the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A few years ago, Feige was heavily rumored to be taking the reins of Lucasfilm, with even a Star Wars movie of his own in the works. However, the recent cooling of the MCU's box office dominance has diminished Feige's star power. Additionally, rumors that he may be leaving Marvel Studios have cast further doubts on whether he'll step into a new leadership role at Lucasfilm. Still, some Hollywood trades suggest that Feige could still be a dark horse candidate. Well, that's all for today, from your favorite galaxy far, far away. A lot of speculation going on, and a lot of news to cover. What do you guys think? Does this even matter at this point? What do you want to see happen? Drop a comment down below. Next, I'll be talking about Kathy's response and all the questions surrounding that. So hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss our next transmission. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you always.